There. Now I don't have to tell you who this is. What's up, everyone? Atheris here with another life-size bust for my collection. And as you can tell, with us today we have Venom by Sideshow. And this is their second attempt, or second installment rather, of a life-size Venom bust, which was actually released alongside a life-size Carnage bust. Both of them sculpted by Steve Wang. Both very interesting interpretations of the character. But I do recall when this came out, actually when both busts came out, they weren't too well received by collectors, I guess because they didn't really fit in with everybody's kind of preconceived image or idea of how Venom should look all the time. The original Sideshow bust was very close to the comic material, how he looked with the cartoony kind of features and stuff like that. Because if you have the original bust, or you've seen pictures of the original bust, you know it had a wicked underbite. It had a jaw that came out to about here, which made no sense whatsoever anatomically, as well as having huge teeth for his face. He actually, to me personally, reminded me more of Braca from Mortal Kombat. So, I mean, it was a cool bust, and it was kind of, I guess you could say, faithful to how it looked in the comic and the animation of that character, but it didn't make sense. I guess if you were to put it in a real world type scenario. Actually, what does that even mean? Because these are fictional characters, but you know what I mean. Like if you were to see it on a Hollywood screen, basically, you would see something closer to this than you would the original Sideshow bust or Venom bust. And this actually, I like. You know, I was part of the original group. I'll be honest, that wasn't too crazy about this when it came out, along with the Carnage bust. I was pretty critical of the both of them. And after a while, though, I gotta say, these really, well, the Venom bust in particular, really grew on me. And I actually like the style of this a lot. And I can even go as far to say as I like it a hell of a lot more than the original bust. The original bust is cool, don't get me wrong, but this, I think, is more Venom. You know, he looks badass. He looks intimidating. It looks scary. It looks, you know, like Venom, how he's described and not how he's drawn, let's say. So the sculpt is all really well done. I love the sculpt on this. The only thing that actually let this down for me was the paint application, which it usually comes down to. And as you can tell, I'm going to get a little closer here into the mouth. That letdown actually, is in the mouth for obvious reasons. I mean, Venom is known as a guy that spits and drools and, you know, has foam at the mouth most of the time. He's like a dog almost. But in this case, in this finished piece here, we don't have that whatsoever. His mouth is actually pretty damn dry if you look at it. And it kind of pissed off a few collectors when they got this in hand as well, because it could have done with a few more coats of clear coat, let's say. His gums are pretty dry. The outside of his lip, I mean, there's no gloss to it almost whatsoever in some areas. Down here on the bottom lip a little bit, but then it just goes flat right over here. And the most important part of all, his tongue, is pretty damn flat too. It's unfortunate. I think, you know, that kind of gloss, or even some spit, if he had a piece of saliva or a little drip of saliva hanging from the tip of his tongue, would have brought it to life a little more than it already is. But I guess, you know, it is what it is at these factories. The teeth, I'll try to close up on that too. There's not too much detail in the teeth. I don't know what the heck they were doing here, but if you can see, it looks like they took a Sharpie and just drew some black lines down the teeth. I don't know what the hell that's about, but it doesn't look cool up close, I gotta say. And another thing collectors were complaining about or questioning, let's say, was the skin texture, surface texture of this bust. Why it, for some reason, had these... come on, focus. Why it had these look like dried water spots on the surface of it, if you can see it there in the reflection. Some were questioning if it was intentional or not, or if, you know, it was just an accident in shipping due to moisture in the box or something like that. But I actually think it's intentional, because if you flip it around to the back and you look at it here, you see it on his back. You see all this, right? But it stops right at his back line here, and then the rest of this is just matte. So it looks like it was definitely intentional. As to whether the effect came out the way they wanted it to is a different question, because some would say it doesn't. It actually ruins the effect, and it looks cheap. But it's a feature, or whatever it is, that can only be seen really up close. You have to get in pretty close, and you have to catch it at the right angle too to see it. In a dark room, or on a shelf, or in a cabinet or something, you're not going to see this because the bust is too damn dark anyway. But you know, it's cool nonetheless. I love the sculpt. This could do with a repaint for sure. But it is what it is. Even the eyes, these, when it was originally shown, these were a hell of a lot more glossy than what you see here. They were actually supposed to be as glossy as the inside of his mouth. So, don't know what happened there, but it's displayable, put it that way. Could be better with a professional paint job, obviously. And also the name tag badge here on the bottom. A lot of people not crazy about. Actually, this is taken literally off the first bust. Has the exact same name tag. They just painted it purple in this one. So, kind of recycling parts there, but you know, it's Sideshow sometimes. But the only part that comes apart on this bust is the tongue, and I'll show you how that comes out. It's held in by a pretty strong magnet. Pretty big, as you can tell. A lot of cool detail on it too. Even these bumpy things here, I don't know what they are, inflamed taste buds or something. But yeah, it's a cool piece nonetheless. Could do with a better paint job. But there you have it. The Carnage bust, I'm going to touch on that really quickly before I close here. I couldn't get around to buying or adding to the collection. I just couldn't get past the bird beak thing. I really, really tried to like it. Did not happen for me at all. But, you know, that's the way it goes. I got the Venom bust here because I actually really like this one out of the two. I like this one, as I said, over the original Venom bust. So this one's going to stay in the collection. Whether I get it repainted someday or not, I don't know. I'll see if I get to that. But for now, it's here. It's awesome. And that's it, guys. The Sideshow Venom Bust. So, rate, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will talk to you in the next video. Take care.